pork.
మళ్ళీ చెప్పండి సార్.
Today I am going to tell you about pork, that is a pig meat, and how pork can cause obesity and diabetes. They are meats, actually any meat, if you take either fish or chicken or pork, pig meat or beef, the glycemic index, that is the amount of sugar that is there in the meat, is 0. So if the glycemic index is 0, the glycemic load is 0, then why the pork or any beef or fish or any meat can cause high insulin levels? The mechanism is, when we take a pork, the pork contains large amount of oil. It is called as saturated fat. This produces large amount of obesity. So the cause for insulin resistance are, first is there is a large amount of consumption. The quantity of food itself is very high. Whenever there is a large amount of consumption, the insulin requirement also will go up. Second is, because there is a lot amount of saturated fat in the pork, there will be obesity. This obesity increases insulin resistance by post-receptor signaling path. Third is, the fat that comes out of the pork meat, here gets deposited in the muscle, and thereby the muscle glucose entry is obstructed. This is called as post-receptor insulin resistance, and thereby the glucose is not taken up the muscle and the insulin levels goes up. So there is abnormal deposit of the fat, there is a post-receptor insulin signaling failure, large amount of requirement of the insulin, and lot of cytokines are, pro-inflammatory cytokines are released from the pork meat, which causes cell destruction. In addition to this, there is a decreased pancreatic beta cell function. Thereby, in long term, there will be reduction in the insulin output. So pork, where exactly, what is the names that are used is, the pig meat is called as ham or bacon, used in sausages, and it is also called as pork ribs. What are the main foods that are used in pork? They are used for sausages, they are used in pork ribs and capicola, and also in pork meat. The gelatin is one of the major contribution, comes from the pork, from the pig hair. Gelatin is used in jellies, sausages, and in ketchups, and in all bakery items. Most important is the pig oil. Pig oil is called as lard. Before the 21st century, entire civilization, Western civilization, was based on lard, L-A-R-D, lard, which is a pig oil based. After 21st century, the vegetable oil shortening has happened. They discovered it and they replaced the lard or pig oil and started using vegetable oil. As the vegetable oil shortening happens, there will be increased amount of hydrogenation of the oil to convert into semi-solid and liquid form. Thereby, trans fats are produced. These trans fats and incidence and diabetes, they are jointly going up. So, if you take it from the last 100 years, as the vegetable oil consumption, seed oil consumption has increased, our diabetes incidence and obesity also has increased. Lard is a pig oil. The advantage is it has omega-3 acid, which is good for the heart. Another is it has saturated fats. Third is the smoke point is different. And fourth is it is the best product to combine it in white flour. So most of the bakery items, they contain pork oil, also called as lard. So the gelatin, what is there, which is there in, which is nothing but coming from the pig, is used in multiple products, all medicinal products, beauty parlor products, and also they are used in ice creams and bakery products and jelly. We can seen in custards, and it can be seen in all chocolates and other bakery items. So lard, it contains lot amount of saturated fats. It contains omega-3 fatty acid, doesn't contain trans fats. But the problem is it produces large amount of cholesterol. So if any quantity of large amount of pig oil, if it is taken, our chance of getting a high cholesterol and LDL and obesity are very high. So the foods which are very high in from pork is pork. If you have a capicola or pork sausage, then pork ribs, they have low glycemic index, but very high insulin resistance, and they have produce very high problem with insulin sensitivity. And this product has a produces very high amount of insulin resistance and thereby diabetes. So, in short, the pig meat is used in the Western countries, not much used in some Middle East, and also not much used by Hindu religion. But the pork also is a protein. By taking a protein, it is used in most of the keto diets. The idea of a keto diet is we are reducing the 2000 calories that are required in the human being per day. They reduce it to carbohydrate to 50 calories. So very, very small amount of calories we are using from carbohydrate. Next is we'll increase the proteins and large amount of fat. That is called as keto diet. By restricting yourself for 90 days, by reducing the carbohydrate, our hunger pangs will come down. Our hunger comes down because of that. Weight loss will be very high. So it is one of the model used in keto diet. But the problem with taking large amount of protein and large amount of fat is the chance of getting a high LDL and high cholesterol and cardiac disease. The next is ketosis sometimes can be very risky for already full-blown diabetes. So if you want to take a pork meat, your basic thing is your oral disposition index should be more than 1. Oral disposition index is insulinogenic index multiplied by insulin sensitivity. Insulin IGI is nothing but fasting insulin minus insulin at 30 divided by fasting glucose minus glucose by 30. If this value is less than 0.4, then your pancreatic beta cells are not working well. If the oral disposition index is less than 1, then you are not able to dispose of the glucose that enters into the body to the tissue. Third is insulin resistance. If the fasting insulin resistance is more than 2.3, then the chance of, if you take a pork, the chance of getting obesity are very high. You are requiring more amount of insulin. Fourth is HOMA-B. HOMA-B is nothing but fasting insulin and divided by fasting glucose minus 63. 360 into fasting insulin divided by fasting glucose minus 63. If it is 33% below, that indicates your pancreatic beta cells are coming down at a large extent. And this group where the fasting insulin resistance is very high and fasting HOMA-B is very low, and if the CPAP is more less than 0.25 nm, then you are going for a high insulin resistance with very poor insulin deficit and with a very, very low amount of insulin, pancreatic beta cells which are left over to give you produce insulin. These people, if they take large amount of pork, there is a chance of going into obesity and full-blown diabetes will happen. Thank you.